We must pay homage to him.
With another Stronger Than series. Today we are doing better main characters than Naruto. Anybody want to kick it off?
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the main niggas that folks are always talking about because of his death scene and shit that they wish that they would have seen more of. That nigga Jiraiya.
Damn.
Yes, man.
That's actually hilarious.
So you're qualifying him as a
I was like, yeah, like low key. If you think about it, like,
I think
what
his
is the
story.
disrespect?
I think his story would have been more interesting because I feel like if he was the main character and we followed him throughout his story all the way up until his death, I feel like it would have been a lot funnier. I mean, because yes, you already know he's a pervy sage and everything, and you'd be able to see more of that dynamic between him and Tsunade with her rejecting him off through all of these years and stuff like that. And I feel like that would also be able to have its own funny little twist of it. And you see literally how these niggas came up from being just a couple of random kids or whatever to being these three swole ninjas. But you're putting that main aspect on the nigga Jiraiya, and I feel like it would make it hit even more when you actually see his death scene. If you had the show end right there with him being the main character, because you typically have, your main character being the huge hero at the end of the day and going out there and saving the day and like, yeah, I'm the greatest hero or I'm the greatest blah in the world or whatever. But no, in this nigga's case, it's a tragic ending on some Shakespeare type shit.
All right. Okay.
Those are fun.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna toss out the obvious one because it's fresh in everyone's mind. Eren from Attack on Titan. I think most people will say it, but I don't actually like Eren as a character. I actually hated him the most. But why he's a better MC is I think they accurately portrayed what somebody like Eren with his mind state would end up going through. Like, if it wasn't for, and say what you will about the end and how everything kind of played out, but I think a lot of what he did in the beginning, it was just interesting and enjoyable to watch how Eren's stupid decisions affected him. I feel like in other series with main characters, especially in anime, they make stupid decisions and the story kind of works out to where they still work. Yeah. Eren would make stupid decisions and then see the consequences of those actions almost immediately. Like, the boy was like, hey, I should turn into a Titan and save these people from the female Titan. And they were like, no. And then he was like, okay. And then they all died. And then he was like, oh shit, I should have turned into a fucking Titan. So I think it was great to watch. It sounds really bad, but it was great to watch him suffer. Is the best way I can say it.
I mean,
it was just really interesting to go. Yeah, because he was just angry all the fucking time. And he was just like, I would say almost like the ultimate Avenger type of character. Like, somebody who really lives and breathes, like, I'm about that action, I hate these niggas. Like, that's Eren. And he ended up, paying the price for it. So
I mean, and to low-key, to piggyback off what you just said, my better MC is going to be Naofumi from Rising of the Shield Hero. For pretty much, for just about the same reasons, for what MGG was talking about. And, like, the biggest thing that low key pissed me off about like everyone else looking at like his life as far as like what was going on is him. I know it's gonna be low key and probably high key controversial, but him buying a slave in his world. Now, if you think about everything that happened to him, where he was pretty much on his own, coming from dirt, coming from a rape charge. Like, homie literally had nothing. He had, like, just about no money. He had, like, no means to really hold up on himself. If he did not buy a slave in his world, mind you, he just would have, it would have been like automatic GG. He just would have like died out, like 100%, not a doubt in my mind. Like, I watched it maybe like 2 or 3 other times. I'm trying to like think about ways that he really could have sustained himself, and minus buying a slave was just straight up start robbing and killing folks. So like the next best thing was pretty much to do everything that was in his power to try to actually make it in the world. And the only thing he could really do was but he needed help. The only way to get that was to actually buy a slave. But how the world was looking at him for doing so, that's what pissed me off, because how widespread slavery was accepted in the world at that time. And it's just like, wow, you really gonna dog him for doing the only thing he could have possibly done to survive. And that was like, so I mean, I know it sounds really effed up. I know it does. But it was like, wow, that's mad dirty, especially coming from the people who did him dirty for a rape charge that he ended up beating at the very end. So, I don't know. But in any case...
I just want to point out something. You said that the nigga would have had to rob and steal in order to survive.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would have been able to kill anybody if the nigga can't do any damage to anybody.
He would have...
You can't lock a nigga to death.
All I can say is that, I don't know, he would have just had to be like, shield, quick shank, and then, I don't know, just keep going. I mean, I know. But in any case, as far as like seeing his struggle in general, I was like kind of like focusing on the one slavery. But as far as like in general, to see his struggle and his come up from like literally not just zero, but like a negative standpoint, that was like 100%. I kind of like was in support more or less with everything he did, including the trauma itself that came with like, you know, the actual distrust, actually getting hit from everyone, and like being like that kind of lonely standpoint. It was like, yeah, that's real, bro. So
yeah, he is probably one of the kings of big brain moves if you think about it, because the nigga came up in a situation where he cannot win, and he still won.
Yeah,
and that's just through big brain moves and hard work and all of that. I want to see a competition between him and the overly cautious hero.
Oh yeah, that button. Oh god,
I feel like both of those dudes would do whatever it takes to make sure that they came out with the W.
Nah, that's around. I'm definitely with you there. As far as better MC, I relate to that too. So I mean, like again, it makes sense, right? Like if you get interjected into like, you know, like an isekai, while we already, you know, watch / know about, you know, isekai worlds. What are you going to do but try to train hardcore, all right? Because you're still in a new world where you're supposed to be an adventurer, a.k.a. you're pretty much at death's door every second of every day. So what are you going to do but try and get OP ASAP? Like that, to me, that's like, okay, that makes sense as fuck. So I was like, who wouldn't do that? So again, made a lot more sense than like Naruto at times, where it's just like, let's just F around, let's just go purely on emotion, let's just try and do this. Nah, bro. My guy said, bro, I'm trying to get max level today in a safe spot. It was like, yes, that's what's up. That is what's up.
Big facts.
All right.
Yeah, so there are a lot more main characters that I have in mind. And I'll just like spitfire some, but you know, I think most of the shonen MCs arguably could be said to be better than Naruto in terms of main characterness. Like some that aren't shonen, but I call out is Goblin Slayer. I think is another good one. He's just an interesting story to watch. Pretty much anybody in any sports anime ever. Interesting. Like there's just too many to name. But let's jump into, or if there's any other honorable mentions or people y'all want to put respect on, throw them out.
So I want to put respect on.